Hello again, everybody. It is Jared Russo, gaming editor for Geek Binge, and I got a fever, and the only prescription is more Titanfall. Bad jokes aside, I've been playing Titanfall nonstop since it came out at 3:15 in the morning East Coast time on Tuesday, March 11th. I guess if you're listening to this in the future, that's when it came out. So yeah, real dumb that I'm doing this video review. I'm reviewing the game. And the first thing I have to say is, why do I have to wait until West Coast time for a game to come out digitally when it comes out in stores East Coast time at midnight? Why do I have to wait? Why can't I just download the game and go? Anyways, I'm not going to chastise EA for that decision. That's a Microsoft decision. Probably a West Coast biased decision. But anyways, so Titanfall is a game. You've heard about it. You've seen it. You've probably played it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one on the internet who's reviewing it, but I don't know. I have some interesting opinions only because I was very, very hyped buying into almost everything that Respawn was selling, and the outcome was not exactly what I thought was going to be the case. I think we all had a really, really high bar expectations-wise. And playing, I'm almost at the level cap. I've gone through both campaigns. I have gotten everything. I've played every mode on every map and played with every gun. I have a lot of time. I don't remember how many hours, but it's a lot. So I feel like it's only been a few days since the game came out, but I feel like I am basically, I've experienced everything there is to experience. I've gone through everything. And what you're watching now is just some gameplay footage of me on Twitch live streaming. You can check that out on twitch.tv/geekbinge, live tweeting, live streaming, doing all sorts of interesting stuff. So I feel like I'm now ready to talk about the game, having gone through it completely, and interestingly enough, there are some things that I really, really feel like were done very poorly, considering that everything else about the game is almost flawless. I mean, let's just break it down to brass tacks, like the game itself, playing the game, the shooting, the running, the balance, the map, the gunplay, the sound, the innovative little things they do, the immersive experience within the multiplayer. I mean, it's all pretty revolutionary. I can't like stress that enough, like how much they do right and how much they're doing right that is unsaid. Like they reverted back to the old Call of Duty style where you have to level up to unlock things, and you don't have to just buy it with points, because I actually really hate that system. I despise that system. I like the old school level up, unlock new stuff. That's how you play the game. I like that. So they brought that back. They added extra XP to Prestige mode. I think that's very interesting. I like that. So there's just so much going on here that obviously we played during the beta, and we got a chance to be like, okay, no, this is exactly everything that we wanted. It feels like Call of Duty 4. It plays like Call of Duty 4, kind of, but it's just more fluid and it's faster, and people don't camp because you're just running and you're jetpacking and you're moving, which is great. And there's not this stupid emphasis on like the mini map and like where people are and stuff like that. And I don't even think spawning. Like everyone talks about like spawn problems and spawn camping. Like that is not an issue I've ever had to even think about. It's so just like so many of the issues that I have with Call of Duty or Battlefield or any of the other shooters, they're not there. It's almost thoughtless how you can just jump in and just enjoy yourself and not have to be good at a game to get pleasure out of it. It's incredible. So the actual game itself, like, is so good that I hate talking about the negatives, but there are some negatives to be examined, and I think one of them is the campaign. Why bother? Why bother even putting in a fucking campaign if you're not going to, I don't know, make it fully fleshed out? Like, it's weird. It's akin to when you're in line for a roller coaster, and the roller coaster has like a story to it. So you're waiting in line, and you're looking around, and there's set dressings, and the line they make kind of interesting, and they're trying to sell you this lore, and you finally get on the ride, and there's a bit of story to it. The thing in my mind is the Incredible Hulk roller coaster at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. Like, they sell you this whole Hulk story while you're waiting for the ride, and while you're in the ride, technically, like, the ride's going up, the roller coaster's getting ready, and you're hearing Bruce Banner, and, it's going through the story. And then once the roller coaster shoots off, it's just an exhilarating ride, and that's what Titanfall is. It's like all this window dressing, all the story they're trying to sell you. It's not interesting. It's superfluous. It's completely frivolous, and I don't care. Like, if they made me care, that would be one thing, but they give you the story in the box in the window up top, and I don't know who people are or how they're affiliated. I don't know. I really don't care about the Skynet and the militia. They're trying to show me, like, you know, like, they're trying to show characters' movements at the beginning of the game. Like, I have to get to checkpoint B. I have to go capture that, you know, that flag. I have to keep moving. Like, why am I gonna sit around waiting for the story? Like, I need to go. I'll be dead, and they'll be trying to show me a cutscene, and I'll miss it. It just doesn't work. I really don't feel like it's necessary, and they force you to do it because you need to unlock the other two Titan models, the Strider and the Alice, and that's just handcuffing me to something I don't want to do. I was just really over campaign after 2 missions. It was really dumb. You know, and there's not even like there's anything interesting there at all. Like, I appreciate the diversity in the characters. Like, that's all fine and dandy that you can pick your gender and you can pick, you know, there's like a female character and everything, but like, whatever. I'm just so whatever about it, you know. And the worst is if you don't play campaign immediately, like, and you level up or you like come back at like different times, it is almost impossible to find people to play with. You're so dependent on having other people play in the same section of the campaign as you. It's really incredibly annoying. It is very dumb. So that's the biggest pet peeve. The other thing is private lobbies. It's an issue. Why isn't a replay theater? Like, you know, Halo 2 and Halo 3 introduce a lot of you know, things, you know, menus and modes and things that you'd think all multiplayer games would just take from because they're just so inherently like necessary. But I guess there's the game DVR for the Xbox One, but that's a whole crapshoot if you want to go through that. I don't like multiplayer achievements, and there's one that's like you have to level up to the cap before March 2014. Like, people buying this game, you know, not when it came out, like, how are you supposed to finish that achievement? Respawn, how am I supposed to do that? That's a little ridiculous. Yeah, there's not enough modes. I really feel like the modes are a huge stranglehold on the game. Like, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare has this problem too. It's just like there's not enough there. Like, even Ghost has just tons, like anything you could possibly want. There's just tons of modes for you, and they're constantly updating them with new tweaks and additions and things, and bringing old school ones back. And while I appreciate the guns and the attachments, again, there is not enough there for a real meaty multiplayer experience, like compared to a Call of Duty, or recent Call of Duty, or a Battlefield. Like, for a multiplayer only game, they're surprisingly very it's not thin, but it's sort of just weaker, you know, variety wise and content wise in the guns and the attachments and the challenges and things like that. Like, it's a little weird. I'm not going to try to explain why. I mean, obviously it's a small team, they only had so much time, they had to ship the game out. They're also trying to do different things, and I feel like that's really where they're focused on, is trying to make the experience better and trying to make sure that the first Titanfall is something that people are invested in and they want to buy into the property, into the franchise, to the IP. Again, it's very successful. I totally anticipate Titanfall 2 being like the greatest multiplayer game. Like, once they have the formula down, which they do, I could only imagine where they go off from here with you know, new Titans or riding creatures and things like that. So as much as I can sit around and knock it for not being super pretty and the resolution and everything else that the internet wants to complain about, I'm trying to stay super positive about the game, because it is a really, really fantastic game. I mean, technically it's a killer app for the Xbox One, but it's also on PC and it's coming to 360. I'm not reviewing the PC version or the Xbox 360 version. I'm just reviewing the Xbox One version, but for some reason everyone seems to think this is like an exclusive to that console anyways. But besides the point, you know, I could sit around and nitpick it to death. And I feel like in the future they will continue to add free content and they'll continue to update the game. So I'm not super worried about that. I mean, I'm sure DLC packs will add in all sorts of stuff to keep that going. So the longevity is not my problem. And the fun, and it's super fun. So that's not an issue either, you know. It really is better when you're playing with friends. So if you can get a big party together and just jump into an Xbox Live party now that that's all fixed, and you can broadcast through Twitch. Again, these are all features that are specific to the console and not specifically to the game. But the game came out and all these things came out around it, so they almost feel tied in a way. But no, it all works fluidly. It all works well, and I'm very glad that Titanfall is not a disaster. I'm very glad that the servers worked. Again, they're Microsoft's cloud servers technically, and not EA's, so dodging a bullet there, Respawn. But yeah, no, this is a fantastic game. I'm sure you're aware of that. And I do try to read everything on the internet and try to get a variance of opinions. And there's a few contrarians out there who do bring up good points about like what the game does not have and what it can do better. And I agree with them. But at the same time, like the 90% of the things it does right should overshadow the 10% of the things it does wrong. And for that, I'm gonna have to give a wacky score. We here at Geek Binge don't really give. We use a 20-point scale. We use like scores that end in 0 or 5. And I really don't like that. I don't like being tied down to that. So I'm sticking it to my boss. Sorry, Matt. I'm giving this a 9.3, maybe a 9.4. No, 9.3. I'm gonna go right between a 9 and a 9.5. I'm sure the game will get better as things are released DLC-wise, but I can't review that. I can only review what I downloaded digitally and what comes with it, and it's worth it. It's a great game. I'm not blown away like I was back in the day, when Halo 2 came out or anything, or when Call of Duty 4 came out. But I am thoroughly enjoying playing a multiplayer game that scratches that itch, that is different from everything that I've played before, and for that I have to give it props. So a 9.3. There you go. That is the score. So thank you for watching. I am again Jared Russo, gaming editor for Geek Binge. You can follow me on Twitter at Jared Russo. You can read more content, geekbinge.com. All sorts of awesome stuff going on every single day about TV, film, and games. YouTube channel, if you're watching this, subscribe. It is Geek Binge Videos. I'm going to put up a lot more YouTube stuff in the future. And we have a, Geek Binge has a gaming podcast, which I host, called Screen Bites. That is spelled with a Y. Not to be confused with our other podcast, which is spelled with an I. But, there you go. Titanfall. Go buy it, go play it. I don't know why people are on the fence. They shouldn't be. There should be no fence people about Titanfall. You're either in or you're out. I don't know why there are people on the fence about really anything. You should kind of know what you're in for. I mean, I know people want to be cautiously optimistic and they want to see like how it is before they buy it and whatever, but just YOLO, just do it. Just spend the money, jump into games if you love them. No reason to sit around and wait for things to drop in price. So yeah, those are my opinions, those are my feelings. If you agree, comment, tell your friends. If you don't agree, comment, tell your friends I'm an idiot. I don't care. So that's the Titanfall video review. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will check you guys out later.